Hey everybody, I wanted to talk real quick about the leash that I use both for winging and for para winging. And most specifically, I wanted to talk about a little trick, a little alteration that I make to this leash when I'm para winging. So to start off, this is the FCS leash. It is, I believe, called the Ankle SUP Essential leash. And this is what they say is their 7 foot model. That's going to be when it's all stretched out. But as you can see, nice little loop. So when I connect this to the back of my harness and then down to the board, nothing drags in the water. There's no noise, no thwapping around anything. So that's why I really, really like this leash. I just prefer having kind of a traditional feeling surf leash. That's probably because I've surfed, in the past and continue to surf today. And I like that feeling. I've tried some other leashes and I don't like using different materials. And then the coil just helps to keep it out of the way so I'm not stepping on it. So I've found this to be really perfect. However, if you were a parawinger and you used a coil leash, you know that this coil causes trouble. Normally people have a coil that's running the whole length, so it causes a lot of issues. But what happens is your parawing lines get in here and they wrap on these coils, and then you have to get your lines out, and it's not super easy to get your lines out of this. When this grabs them, it's really in there. So if you can imagine, you've collapsed your parawing, you're holding on to the leading edge of it, most likely the lines sweep back, grab this. So now you have a situation where you're trying to do a pack down and you can't because your lines are tangled in here. And what you have to do is you're trying to reed swell, you're trying to hold this over here, and then you reach down and you grab that strand and you're pulling it and trying to stretch and get it to pop out of this. It's just a mess. It can lead to you falling in the water if you're not on a nice piece of swell or you're in a technical zone. So I wanted to figure out how to protect this section of coil from the parawing lines to ensure that they couldn't tangle. And I came up with this. So in the past, I was a professional rock climber and I worked as a professional industrial climber, and we had this thing from Petzl called the JAG system, JAG, JAG system. And it's a rescue device. So this is the sleeve that goes over this 5-to-1 pulley system. All I did is I called the local shop that sells tree climbing equipment, is what most people will ask about. Hey, do you have Petzl tree climbing equipment? And ask for a replacement jag sleeve. This is $20. So this is really affordable. I put a zip tie at the top. Make sure you do a nice trimming when you cut the zip tie. If you just snip that haphazardly, it will be sharp and it will cut you or damage some gear. But all I did is put a zip tie up there, hang it down, and then I've put a couple 100 miles on this now, intentionally abusing my parawings by doing these horrible, like, let the lines hang and swing it all over the place, just straight up reckless with the parawing lines hanging out. And I have not gotten a single tangle in all of that time. So it's working perfectly. Now, the only things that you will notice will happen if you try this is the 1 meter version of the sleeve. They make it in a 2 meter, which if you didn't want to have any issues, the 2 meter might be better. But what can happen is if you do fall and you extend these coils, they come out, then when it goes back in, it holds the sleeve up higher. Now, I'm sure this has happened to me during the session, and I've come out at the end of my session and this was still looking like this, but I still didn't get any tangles on the bottom. So to me, that means that most likely my lines were getting tangled on the top of the coils, not the bottom. But when you go to reset, it's pretty easy to just pull that down. The other thing that can be a little more annoying is that this sleeve can keep twisting and it'll then become coiled with the coils. Same thing, I've never had a line get caught while that was twisted on there. But I would expect that once that becomes twisted in there, it's probably restricting the kind of bungee effect that you're getting from the coils. So when you fall, I could imagine a scenario where it's going to feel like you're using a little bit shorter leash than you might be used to. But yeah, otherwise, I think somebody could come out with, a pair-wing specific sleeve that could cover the coils, and it would be awesome. I know everybody's got their own solutions and their own way of managing their lines, but I just wanted to share mine. It works like a dream for me, and I couldn't be happier with the fact that I don't ever get that specific tangle when I'm on the water anymore.